And we are live. Welcome to the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix pre-race Chinwag predictions. Let's get into it. And I'm not late. You're welcome, everyone. Some of you have no faith, all right? Now, it might be the case that 60-70% of the time I am late, but I'm not late this time, okay? Okay? Hear me out. How we doing, everyone? Welcome. Ola, Demry, Henry, Dimmy, Paula, Kiefer, Salim, Joe, Cole, Daedalus, Traden, K, Nathan, Cone, Rabbit, Rebecca, Salim, Batu, Isaac, Professor, Rick, Jordan, Glooby, Matthew, Luca, Azar, C, Kaluga, Molly, Ilham, Josephine, CDS, Will. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking the time to join me for this little chat. It's been a week off. It always feels like whenever there's a week between races and I don't do a stream, because sometimes I do if there's like news. And to be fair, well, there's some news we'll get onto later that I would have streamed, but I would have streamed like straight away, but I wasn't at home when the news came out. So because I couldn't get onto it promptly, I was like, I'll just wait for the pre-race. For the pre-race Chinwag, you know? But thank you all for coming. Stream one of not being Minton. What do you mean, Seamus? What do you mean? You changed your name back to Seamus. It's funny you mention the little sausage dog, actually, because it's a very special day for Minton today. He will be coming on stream because today is Minton's 5th birthday. So, yeah, I'm going to be cooking him some steak later. I'm going to do him a little mini roast. We're going to have like a roast, like steak and like mash, whatever. And I'm going to do him a little one as well because he deserves it, because he's the best boy. But yeah, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that in good time. Let's talk about Qatar. The Qatar Grand Prix, back on the calendar for the first time. Didn't have it last year since 2021, which was the first time we'd had it on the calendar at all. So only the second Qatar Grand Prix. And also, don't forget, audio only, all right? Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You might be listening to this after the fact. If so, then hello, ASMR, hello. If you're watching on YouTube, then you might be live. You might be watching this after the fact, but you can listen to this, consume this audio only if you so please. Okay, might have had enough of this massive forehead. Look, it's a proper forehead, right? Because easy 4 fingers go onto my forehead. Full of knowledge. It's the wheel knowledge, mate. That's what it is. That's why it's shiny as well. Right, come on then. Round 18, Qatar Grand Prix. 17th race of the season because we didn't have Imola, of course. Round 18, Qatar. Bit of an unusual track, isn't it? It's designed primarily for bike racing. I believe, hello, break, good to see you, mate. I believe that this is not going to be the Qatar Grand Prix for the rest of time. There is plans to have a different track than Losail, I think. Is it Losail with that? Or was it Saudi with that, actually? I can't remember. I know one of the more recent kind of Middle Eastern tracks, it wasn't going to stay at the same track forever. Look, it was all right last time out. I did refresh myself just before we went live. It was Saudi. Okay, fair enough. It was Saudi. It was in 2021. Qualifying was a bit mad. Remember, very high tyre dag. I wouldn't say tyre dag. Very high tyre deg last time out in Qatar in 2021. Fernando Alonso got his first podium back in F1 since his long stay off of the podium. Is it both? Is it both tracks as well? So maybe Qatar as well is looking to move away. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Qatar tried to move towards more of a street circuit. Because, I mean, the Losail track is fairly established. Again, more for MotoGP. It's a lot of high-speed corners. Challenges cars in a different way. We're going to see some cars struggle more than others this weekend, which we do on most tracks. So I quite like that, okay? I quite like that, apart from Red Bull, which is good everywhere, apart from Singapore. And even then, it was just because of setup. You know, McLaren, Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes all have their kind of strengths. So, yeah, we'll see. Look, we'll see how this one goes. I'm cautiously optimistic this will be a decent enough race. Tyre degradation was a big factor last time out. We had Gasly get a puncture in qualifying. This is back when AlphaTauri were actually really good, because Gasly and Tsunoda both got to Q3, and then Gasly hit the curb. They have some nasty curbs at LaSalle. I don't know if they've changed them since, but that caused Pierre to break his front wing, which then gave him a puncture. In the race, you had Bottas puncture, Russell puncture, Latifi puncture, man like Nicholas. But yeah, Fernando came through at the end. Ocon defended. He didn't quite give the Lion-esque defence that Fernando did for him against Lewis at Hungary, but he did enough to hold off Perez, slammed down a little bit, and gave Fernando a good 3-4 second buffer to Perez to get P3 on the podium. And again, this was the third from last race of 2021. And actually, Max and Lewis managed to keep this, they didn't have any come-ins together, which was a first, because that didn't happen very often in 2021, did it? Thank you, Jibril, for the $5 Aussie. Appreciate it. How many stops do you feel is optimal for this race? And what tyres would you use if you were team principal for McLaren? Well, I would first of all be like, why are you asking me, McLaren? Because that's a stretch to rely on. The head might be big, the brain might be full, but full of nonsense. Look, again, people trying to make the one stop last time struggled. Again, a lot of punctures. Fernando was scared towards the end, understandably, in P3, doing the one stop. Can I get to the end? Checo was pitted for a two stop, trying to move through the field. And look, obviously the Pirelli tyre construction's changed completely. You've got the 18-inch rims now. Again, it's 2021. We didn't race there last year. So I imagine it's going to be quite a different... I'm not sure what... Do we know actually what compounds they're using for this weekend? Like C1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like what? I'm not sure what range. I imagine we're on the harder side of things. I'm sure someone in chat knows. Just given what happened last year. Again, this is very higher downforce, higher G corners. Yeah, the hardest compounds I heard. C2, 3, 4, I think. C420, very helpful, Blake. Very helpful from the engineer there. Look, I think this is one where I'd like to think Pirelli would err on the side of caution, because it wasn't a good look for them in 2021. These tyres going pop left, right, and centre was not a good look for Pirelli. But there you go. Hope the new hard tyres rip on the curbs for the drama. Well, again, these curbs can be nasty. They can be nasty, these curbs around the south. So, yeah, look, I think it will be an interesting race. There's a lot of expectation around McLaren, that they'll be quick. Whoever was good around Suzuka will probably be all right around here as well. Whoever struggled around Suzuka will probably struggle around here as well, because the demands, even though you look at the track, is quite different, but a lot of the corners are pretty medium, if not high speed. So are they not changing the curbs? I'm not sure, Glooby, to be honest. I'm not sure. Obviously, it's been a while since we last raced here, so there is plenty of time to change it up if need be. Cool. Right. Sweet. Let's remind ourselves where we stand then in the Drivers' Championship. And Max Verstappen will... I'm going to use the word will, all right? What Max needs this weekend to win the championship, this sprint weekend, remember, sprint weekend, he needs 3 points. That's it. That's all he needs. He just needs 3 points. If he gets 3 points, it's done. 403. If he gets 3 in the sprint, he's done. If he doesn't get any in the sprint, and then Checo gets like a win in the sprint, or maybe a second in the sprint, I think Checo would need to win the sprint. And then in the main race, Max still just needs to get 3 points. So it is a foregone conclusion. It will happen. Almost certainly in the sprint race. Maybe not. I talked about this, didn't I, in on the last lap, actually. I talked about this with Niran, about people being a bit funny about Max winning the championship at the sprint. Any strong opinions in chat about that? I mean, for me, the fact that he can win it in the sprint just demonstrates that that's how much of an advantage he has. If it was, I think the one way it would bother me is if it was the final race of the year and he could win it in the sprint, because that would because then the championship would be close enough. Say that he could like win the sprint and then second place could like fall out the points completely in the sprint, and then he just wins the title. That would be a bit annoying, but whatever. I mean, it'd be a bit of a shame for Max from his point of view, maybe, because if he really wants to get on it, like afterwards winning the championship, well, he's won it on the Saturday, but then they just prolong the celebrations to something. Because, all right, yeah, he's not won it. This is the thing as well. He has basically won the championship. Like yes, mathematically he hasn't won it, but even if Max didn't score a single point for the rest of the season, like the chances of Perez picking up maximum points, if Verstappen just sacked it off and just I just fancy staying home for the rest of the year, like it'd still almost certainly win the championship because Perez would have to score maximum points in every race, and we know that we can't rely on Checo to do that, can we? So, I don't think it really matters. I mean, it doesn't. It just doesn't matter, does it? And Max doesn't like the sprints. Max doesn't really. Any of you watch? Because obviously I've got very much into the NBA recently, and the Joker, Jokic, the way he talks about basketball, the almost like apathy he talks about basketball. Max kind of strikes me. He's just like, I'd rather be at home in Monaco on my sim. Like, he loves the racing, but I think Max really seems to me that he's a bit over the whole ceremony and nonsense around Formula One. That's why I do think he'll leave in 2028. Definitely. NBA is his side hustle. Exactly. Like, I think Max will almost certainly leave in 28 and go and do sports cars where there's like a bit less eyeballs, a bit less nonsense, a bit less press, a bit less all that comes with it, Yeah, like Kimi to an extent for sure. There's one thing loving the art of racing and another thing loving everything that comes with it. I mean, literally, like, was it last night? Me and Hannah started watching that David Beckham documentary. And you see like the difference between like David Beckham. Sorry, some of you might be lost a bit here because this is football chat from back in the like late 90s, early 2000s. Like David Beckham, like, and Gary Neville, like they both played the game for the same team, right? And were equally passionate about the game. But then outside of it, Beckham loved the life outside of it, whereas Gary Neville just wanted to save for his pension and like retire early. Like, people are different, I did see Jimmy Butler's new hair as well. I don't understand the story behind that, but it's quite funny. I would love to see like you see, this is the thing. This is what kind of upsets me a bit. It's a shame. I think it's a shame that in other sports you see quite a lot, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, you see quite a lot of like back and forth sometimes between like the participants and like the fan base or like the media. And I feel like with F1, it's all still very serious. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like imagine, I don't know, Ed Straw puts an article out on the race about Max Verstappen, and then Max, like, I don't know, make some kind of like, I don't know, dresses up as someone, or I don't know, like the kind of thing Jimmy Butler's done, but an equivalent in F1. Or like Jude Bellingham when he's talking about like the CBS, like Omri and Michael Richards and that, like, and Jamie Carragher, like, I don't know, it's that back and forth doesn't seem to be there in F1. But I think, I don't know, maybe there's, maybe it's just distrust from the drivers towards the media, which I wish I could understand for sure. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting very sidelined here. So Hamilton is 33 behind Perez. Looks like a bit of an insurmountable gap. I mean, the Mercedes have been very consistent, but I mean, around a track like this, you've got to expect them McLaren's going to pick up big points. I mean, Ferrari should be quick around here as well, to be fair. But I'm wagging that chin, Jamie. That's what we do here. Yeah, you'd expect big points from McLaren this weekend for sure. Not bad from Mercedes, not bad from Ferrari. Relatively, probably quite bad from Aston Martin because they just don't seem to be at the races. But I mean, I think it's going to be Aston scrapping with Alpine just like they were last season again, which is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. Sky Sports definitely needs to work on the F1 side of things. Crofty and Ted are amazing about it, so that don't seem to be too much personality. Again, look, Seamus, I think there's a good example of like what CBS do in football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. You know, that kind of approach to, but I think you're only going to get that from like ex-drivers. I think even just putting younger people in like the F1 broadcast, I don't think it's going to necessarily change that. I think you need like, if it was all like Jenson Button, like I think Jenson's great. I think, you know, when Fernando retires, get him in there as well, get him in the comms. Rosberg, I mean, I don't think, I think Rosberg's a really good pundit, but I don't think he would get that fun side out of the drivers. I just don't think that's kind of works on his character. Palmer's decent. I like Palmer. Sebastian. Oh my goodness. Sebastian, thank you so much for the 24. Bloody hell. Thank you very much, Sebastian. Very kind. Just want to say thank you for the race Chinwags. Listen to them from the last 4 months. For the last 4 months while preparing for a marathon. Nice. On Sunday I reached the finish line. Tyres aren't gone. Legs are though. Keep up the great. Well done, Sebastian. Tell you what, Seb, I did a marathon back in 2017, back when I was much slimmer, much fitter, but I think I look better now. Mate, well done. That's like that's crazy. That's a exceptionally difficult challenge to put yourself through, but well done. You saved the tyres to the very end. I hope you did well, mate. Well done. Proud of yourself. Anyone, you know what? Like, having something to aim towards, like, I almost feel like I need to do an equivalent again now to get myself back on because having something that's booked, that's going to happen, and you're like, oh God, I've got to actually be ready for this. That's the kind of motivation I need. But I'm glad the Chinwags have helped crunch the miles. You know, you could be watching. Some of you watch while you're, you know, having a poo, and others are watching while you're running 18, 19 miles. So there you go. Thank you, Sebastian. Very kind of you. Okay, otherwise, I mean, I'll probably see Gasly jumping Stroll this weekend in terms of points. But other than that, not too many stories going on, really. Obviously, yeah, Russell Norris being level points is pretty mad as well, isn't it? But there you go. This is the Prix podcast. We have fun. We have fun. I like to think we have fun, right? I like to think you wouldn't stick around if you weren't having fun. So they're the driver standings. Constructor standings. Obviously, Red Bull have the title rounded up. The title is theirs. Ferrari are just 20 points off of Mercedes, which is... do I think Ferrari will catch Mercedes by the end of the year? Ferrari just are too inconsistent. I think Mercedes, you've got to say, you have to... Do you have to applaud their consistency? No, actually, because they started all right and they've just not got any better. But then I suppose everyone's... You know what I mean? Like, for the fact that Aston and McLaren have made the jump ups they have, they're jump ups relative to Ferrari and Mercedes. So, like, Red Bull are still clear of McLaren and Aston Martin and have been clear all season. You know, it's just a bit embarrassing for the two big names. You know, Mercedes and Ferrari, two massive, historically relevant automotive manufacturers, and they are getting beaten around the bush by a energy drink company. So there you go. McLaren Aston Martin is that's 28 plus 20, 49 points between McLaren and Aston Martin, which I could certainly see that getting breached, coming down a bit. AlphaTauri brought some upgrades, so I think they could be. I wouldn't be surprised if Alfa Romeo finished last. I'll be honest. I think with Lawson is racing this weekend alongside Tsunoda, and then you've got Ricciardo coming back. He will be back eventually this year, so I think that they're in a good place to jump Alfa Romeo for sure. For sure. See, Jordan, I knew it. I knew you were. I knew it. You people are sick. Yeah, I think he'll be back for Mexico, Ricciardo. Hopefully. But yeah. Right, cool. Okay. Time for predictions. Predicciones for this weekend's 2023 Qatar Grand Prix. So, race winner. Banger drive, clanger drive, banger team, clanger team. Okay? 5 different areas. I did forget to put the poll out last night, so we got about 500 and something votes, which is still great. Not as many as we usually do. Sorry, my bad. But before we look at yours, let's look at mine, okay? My predictions for this weekend's Qatar Grand Prix are as follows. Max Verstappen race wing, banger drive Lando Norris, clanger drive Sergio Perez, banger team McLaren, clanger team Aston Martin. And thank you, Adonis, by the way, for the 4. And will Max win the Constructors by himself? And has that ever been done before? Yes, to part 1. Don't know to part 2. That's actually a good question. Has anyone ever won the Constructors on their own before? Probably not, because there's so many points on offer these days. But yeah. Anyway, right. Thank you, Adonis. Appreciate it. Race winner Verstappen. Duh. Banger drive Norris. Duh. Clanger Hamilton 2020, Vettel 2013. Yeah, I mean I've not checked. I've not done the maths. Was Seb 2013 enough on his own? Yeah, I've not done the maths. I can't confirm, but chat seems to think Hamilton 2020, Seb 2013, which are the 2 most actually dominant seasons of recent times. Like actually, one car with one driver it's almost a given every weekend they're going to win. All safe choices, yeah, because I feel like we've got enough education now from this year as to where these teams sit and where these drivers sit in their teams relative to each track. And I think around this kind of circuit, another one that Piastri's never been to, that Lando has, at least he's got a race underneath his helmet. Clanger drive Perez might seem like an easy, but look, what am I seeing to suggest that Perez has turned a corner here? This is his 3rd season at Red Bull, and right now he's as far off Max as he's ever been, and his performances are as bad as they've ever been, just in terms of mistakes. Like, damn, absolutely. Like, these kind of incidents, like taking out Albon and Magnussen back-to-back weekends for a driver with his experience, like not being at one with a Red Bull. No, that's not an excuse. Like, he's driving like a bit of a numpty at the minute, and he needs to sort it out. And do I see it getting any better this weekend at Qatar? I don't. Banger team McLaren, already explained as to why, and clanger team Aston Martin, look, they weren't good around Suzuka. They're good at the short, slow speed stuff. Tight corners, they're decent around them. Not much of that at Qatar. So, yeah. I mean, I think Aston have said they're going to continue to bring upgrades as this season goes on. Do we know any, chat, has there been any, I've not seen any reference to any particular upgrades that teams have said they're bringing this weekend, but I could be wrong. Do you think Danny Rick not suiting the car is an excuse? I think a driver not suiting the car that they have is definitely a valid explanation for poor performance, for sure, definitely, 100%. In the same way that, like, some drivers would go from Formula One to World Endurance and be rubbish, and other drivers would go from like the other way and be rubbish, like, or Fernando went to World Endurance and was great. So it can kind of go both ways, It can go both ways, and I think, I think that the true greats adapt to whatever they're given, you know? And I think some drivers, a lot of drivers, most drivers probably just don't have the skill set to adapt to every single type of car that gets put underneath them. Not just different types of F1 cars, but different types of whatever. I mean, you'd never expect a Formula World Endurance style driver, open wheeler, to be able to jump into a rally car and do well, because that's a massive jump, you know. We've seen Raikkonen try it, we've seen Kubica try it, you know. That's a huge jump. That's a big, but to go to a different discipline, still on the same kinds of circuits, but with four wheels, like, the best drivers do adapt. The best drivers really do carry that skill set and change. But also, I think part of the issue for Perez, Ricciardo is almost victims of their experience. They're very used to driving a certain way, and almost like over time that gets conditioned, so that when now they're thrown into a very different type of car, they're not able to hang with it, you know, and move. Matthew, it's your birthday. It's Matthew's birthday. Matthew F1. You share a birthday with Minton, Matthew. So happy birthday. I will be grabbing Minton fairly shortly. Let's just wrap through these predictions, and then we'll get the little sausage who shares a birthday with Matthew F1. To be fair, I think I've kind of covered it there, really. Not much more in terms of my predictions. As for yours, 60% think Max is going to win. 30% of you think Lando Norris is going to win. Is it Magnussen's birthday as well today? Wow, there you go. 5% think Oscar Piastri, 2% Hamilton. No big shocks there. I think there is an outside chance for Lando. It would definitely take something going wrong procedurally, or Max making a mistake, which doesn't often happen, but he is human. Everyone makes mistakes. So, Mitchell, it's your dog's birthday today as well. Vibes. I love that. Is this a sprint or race prediction? Nah, I'm not doing separate predictions for the sprint. This is all about the race. This is all about the big proper race on Sunday, Sword, for sure. Banger drive. 46% of you say Lando Norris, 12 Piastri, 8 Hamilton, 6 Leclerc. Leclerc had a good race at Suzuka. Let's not pass on. There's been a lot of science hype at the minute and well earned from Carlos, but don't sleep on Charles. Don't sleep on that young Monegasque man. Clanger drive, 23%, Lance Stroll, 22% Perez, it's always them too. 10% Sargent, him as well. And then 8% Russell. Yeah, I mean, Russell's ruffled a few feathers recently, but his driving has been of a good standard, especially in qualifying. He's done well. Stroll would defend like a kitten. Stroll will defend like a kitten. Love that. That's a good little reference. I like that, James. It's very good. Banger team, 63% Usain McLaren, 10 Red Bull, 8 Ferrari, 7 Mercedes, and then Clanger team, 25 Aston Martin, 23 Haas, 11 Alfa Romeo, 10 Alpine. Alpine. Do you think Max will be crowned on Saturday? I mean, yes, almost certainly. Max only needs 3 points from now to the end of the year to win the championship. That's it. That's all he needs. 3 points. Which would be P8 is 1, 7 is 2, so 6. P6 in the sprint would be enough for him. P6 would be enough. Right, okay, cool. Let's jump back to the main screen. I am going to grab my miniature sausage dog because it's his birthday today, and I think you lot will want to see him on his birthday. I am also going to insert an ad here so that I can earn some money while I go and get Minton. And then that can pay for his steak tonight. I'm just going to get a steak for myself, and then I'll give him a bit of that. But, bosh, there you go. Back in a bit, everyone. If you're YouTube Premium, you're not seeing an ad. All right? Let's go find this Minton. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Oh, he's 5 today. I mean, not everyone gets the ad, I don't think. Hello, buddy. Are you 5? Are you 5 today? He is 5 today. We're going to go for a really nice walk after this. Also, got a little, pop that on. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Look at it. That's the boy. 5-year-old Minton. There we go. Thank you, Jamie, for the $7.99. I thought you were going to say you were going to go grab your miniature sausage. I have. This is exactly what... That is a factual description of events. Happy birthday. Buy yourself something nice. Thank you, Jamie. Very kind, mate. Appreciate that. Look at him. Look at how tired. Look at how not arsed he is. Needs to sleep. So he's been sleeping all day. All you do is sleep, bruv. Right? All he does is sleep. But look at him. Look at how beautiful he is. I don't think he minds the hat. I think he's just tired. He's not trying to get it off or anything. Do you want to go on my shoulder? Just go on my shoulder, right? You'll be a bit happier up there. Because you like going on my shoulder. Right, should we just... Sorry, audio-only listeners, you can't see Minton. There we go. You're going to accept being up there, mate? Right. Let's just put him up there, bro. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Ola? Like, you would think so, wouldn't you? Considering how he was having a kip downstairs next to Hannah while she's on the call. But anyway, right, go on, look, smile for the camera. At least try and open your eyes. God. Right. Anyway, let's get back to the final topic of conversation. You can't see Minton. There we go. Which is, of course, Andretti. Woo. Andretti is one step closer, yet still feels further from reality than ever. So I'm going to just do another poll question. Do you want Andretti in Formula 1? Simple question. All right? Simple question. Do you want Andretti in Formula 1? Why do you look so miserable, Vincent? Oh dear, you are tired, aren't you? Right, shall I take the hat off? Is it the hat? Is it? Let's get the hat off and see if it makes a difference. Right, are you still just gonna... There you go, good boy. Right, how are you now? You still just tired? Yeah, okay. You got any insight to put into the microphone? No, cool. He does seem a bit more lively now. He's got the hat off, to be fair. So there you go. Right, cool. Yeah, let me know in the poll. Do you want Andretti in F1? 90% of you currently are saying yes. So, live chat, right? I want to kind of discuss the main reasons that people don't want Andretti, right? In terms of fans, because the overwhelming consensus I'm seeing, and that this poll, 90-10, right, suggests that as well. Most people seem to want Andretti in the sport. Now, do I want Andretti in the sport because it's Andretti? Sure. I want an 11th team, that primarily, right? And I think most people would want more teams. I think some people might not specifically want Andretti, but having an extra team, I think, is a net good. But if you say no, then why are you saying no? That's what I want to know. I don't just want another back marker. Which, look, again, William, what I would argue against that is we don't have back markers right now at all. Like every team, I think it was within 5 races or maybe 4 that every team had scored at least a point this year, which is pretty like. Hang on, let me double check. Let's get good old Toto's favourite Wikipedia up. I'm sure it was within like. Hang on, let me check. So this year, every team had scored a point within 3 races. Within 3 races, by Australia, because AlphaTauri got a point in Australia, every single team had scored a point, at least a point. They'd been in the top 10 at least once this year. I'd argue there's not back markers. You've kind of got, at the moment, obviously, you've got Red Bull on their own. Then you've got that glug of like 4 teams, and then you've got the rest. Alpine are kind of in that uncanny valley in the middle. But it's close enough that Alpine getting out of Q1's not a given. Like, they were both out in Q1 in Monza. So I would argue there's not back markers. That's what I'd say. Thank you, Seamus, for the £2. Careful, buddy. Andretti's probably better. The thing is, like, Andretti, you say, like, Andretti's racing royalty, Carrie. Like, Andretti is a name that, you've got Mario's 78 world champion, big name in the States as well. With IndyCar, you've got Andretti in Formula E. They're in Extreme E as well. Not that anyone cares about that, really. Sorry. And, I think that... I want Andretti in because I want an 11th team, and they feel like the most legit. I mean, there were those other teams. There was that. There was High Tech. There was Roding Carlin. There was Like Sons, however it's pronounced. But obviously, having Andretti, which is such a big name, and Cadillac GM gives me confidence that, because would I be as confident? And if you ask me this question, like, would you want Rodin Carlin to start an F1 team? I would be a bit, I'm not sure. I don't know if I do. Cadillac and Andretti give me the confidence that this isn't just going to be some, nonsense knocking about the back of Manor, a HRT, Virgin, whatever, That's what I'm saying. Jamie, I think add 2 more teams and extend points to 14th. I mean, yeah, I think you would have to extend the points as well if there was an extra team, and especially an extra 2 teams for sure. That'd be good. I mean, I think you're seeing like that's one thing about the F1 point system. It's like in IndyCar where pretty much everyone gets points. I think, like, every position matters, whereas P12 to P11 just doesn't. It's not important. P14, 15, like, there's no point. There's no point pushing for that. Right, you're going to go down, mate, because you're getting a bit techie. Right, say bye on your birthday to all your fans. Bye. He's off. Right, do you want to get in the snuggie on the floor? Yeah. Go on. Then you can go back to sleep. No, no, cool, it's fine. Right, so I'm confident that Andretti and Cadillac and, whether it is a proper GM or if they're just putting their name on it, I know there's some concerns around that, but no, I feel confident, and especially now they've actually passed all the FIA's approval tests. You know what I mean? Like, I think just let them in, you know what I mean? Just let them in. I beg, let them in. Also, sorry, Azhar, I missed your super chat from earlier. Unpopular opinion, Piastri is overrated. He don't improve too much pace with experience. He's already close to his ceiling, but people not ready for that conversation. He's already close to his ceiling? Come on, Azhar. That's harsh. That's harsh. How can you say he's already close to his ceiling? He's had 16 races in Formula 1? Nah. No, I think you're massively... remember Franz Tost, right? Franz Tost knows how to develop young drivers. He's had Vettel, Verstappen, Sainz, Ricciardo, all of these big names come through the ranks at Toro Rosso. He says you need 3 years to properly get settled in Formula 1. Not 16 races. Come on. No, there's definitely more to come from Piastri. I have no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Oh, and now Minton wants to go out. Are you a pest? He's a pest, isn't he? You're allowed to be a pest on your birthday, I suppose. Go on then. There you go. Bless him. Bless the wee sausage. But no, thank you, Azar, for the 100 rupees. I appreciate that. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one. But look, I'm That's what I like. I like healthy debate, perspectives, conversation. It's the beauty of sport, when it doesn't descend into name calling and chaos, which is what, unfortunately, so much of it does. But there you go. So yeah, it's got through the FIA's approval process, which is quite diligent and quite stringent from what I've kind of read. Now it's up to the commercial rights holder, Liberty Media, and the teams to approve it. And we know that the teams do have too much power. Maybe that's just the way it has to be. I'd love it if it wasn't the case. I guess it's, we know that the teams are acting in self-interest to kind of block this move. Part of it is because Michael Andretti, you can see in the picture with MBS, didn't exactly, he went around calling the teams greedy and that, which didn't really, when the team, your entry's reliant on the teams approving it, then you don't really go around and start winding them up and saying stuff, even if it's true. So you had Lawrence Stroll. He was interviewed, I think this morning by Sky Sports F1. He was saying, the classic, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm sorry, but that's not a response. That doesn't mean anything. You could say that about a lot of things in life. That doesn't mean you can't make positive changes to improve the sport still. It's not like the sport is perfect. There's plenty of things that are broken with this sport. Of course there's plenty of things that are broken. And I think the lack of opportunities for young drivers coming in, that a new team would bring 2 extra seats. I think the lack of opportunities for young drivers is somewhat broken about Formula 1. I think 12 teams, 24 seats is the perfect amount. I don't think 20 is enough. But obviously Stroll, he wants his bag. He wants his slice of the pie. But I think it's very short-sighted from the teams to write off such a brand like Andretti, like Cadillac and GM, because I just, I don't know. I'm not American, okay? Many of you are. I think Haas hasn't captivated this. I believe that Haas was never going to captivate the same kind of interest and intrigue from the States that an Andretti bid would, especially an Andretti bid aligned with GM Cadillac versus a Haas bid that's aligned with Ferrari. Am I wrong? Surely. So look, I just think it's short-sighted for the teams to reject it. I think they're showing their focus on the commercial, which ultimately this is why the teams shouldn't be part of these conversations, because you can't expect the teams to look out for anyone but themselves. It's like, it's like I talked about this many a time in 2021 when Max was stepping over the line and pushing Lewis Hamilton a million miles wide at Brazil, for example. If you're not going to punish him, then don't blame him. He's playing, you play to the whistle. That's what you're told when you play football. You play to the whistle. If you're not going to get pulled up for it, if you're going to be able to get away with it, then do it. If the F1 teams are allowed to have a massive say in whether a new team can come in, I can't blame them for playing to the whistle and just looking out for themselves and being like, no. We like the 10 teams. We get our nice chunk of the pie. It's nice and controlled. There's no other factors. But that's not what we want as fans. So I'm an American and I don't view Haas as an American team. And it doesn't really the team doesn't lean into that. It's based in the UK still. And that is because part of Andretti's plan is to originally have an engineering base in the UK, but then eventually when that Fisher's base is ready, which I know it's been a bit delayed, in Indiana, I want to see an American team based in the US. Because then employing American staff in Indiana, the heart of motorsport in the USA, that would be so sick. And you get people here as well, oh no, it's just the Americans, they've only came in recently. No, a US Grand Prix has been on the F1 calendar for most years. All right, sometimes it's been the Indy 500, but Watkins, Glen, we've obviously got all the Grand Prix now. There is a long history of the US and Formula One. And yeah, it's not always gone great. You've got Detroit and Dallas where it was a bit of a a mess because of the temperatures and that. But no, like, the US has a place. And also, like, again, you can't really, if you're going to try and justify having 2 races in Italy, a race in Spain, I mean, no race in Germany is pretty mad, but there you go. A race in Austria, a race in Hungary, then you can't not also justify multiple races in the US, because you can't look at the US like a country. It's the size of a continent, and the variety of people, and like it's essentially a continent. I ain't got a problem with multiple American races, and the impact and the scale and size of Andretti, it's just seems so short-sighted to me that the teams are just like, no, you know what? I'd just rather have a bit more money in my pocket now. I don't know. It just seems silly to me. It really does. I don't know if. I mean, look, the teams are almost unanimous. I think it's only Alpine, isn't it? Because they've got an engine deal with Andretti to help them out when they first come in, before then Cadillac eventually get on their own engine program. But you know. And obviously Alpine have got their US investment now and all that. Yeah, it's a shame that this seems to be a bit of a non-starter. Although there was talk about the European courts getting involved. You know, if there is a block. Let me try and find an article, actually. Andretti F1 European Court. Let's find an article. Let's find. I think this one looks all right. Yeah, because there are certain rules around, you know, this kind of thing. Let's see if I can see if I can find specifically. Okay, so yeah, according to Amos, Automotor and Sport, Liberty can't simply reject Andretti. On one hand, F1 might have a point about Andretti potentially not being competitive enough, blah, blah, blah. So in 2000, the European Commission investigated F1 for alleged breach of European competition law, which at the time centered mainly around the way broadcasting rights were sold. So, yeah, I mean, there is... If F1 simply say no to Andretti, the American entity may initiate legal proceedings, and then there's an awkward situation in which the FIA allows Andretti to race, but it's blocked from TV screens on Liberty Media. We talked about this they've talked about this on the race. The idea of, like, the Andretti cars going around but being, like, blurred from the broadcast, which is pretty mad. So, yeah, I mean, this could get quite messy. The thing is, the amount of investment that Andretti have put in, the amount of effort they've gone to, you know, have their initial bid, have that kind of turned away, but then go and get General Motors on board as well, to go to all of that effort and have the support of the FIA, to then just be like, okay, we'll just walk away because the team said no. Like, I don't think Mario is not going down without a fight. Michael's not going down without a fight. I think this is gonna go on for a bit. I hope it ends with an 11th F1 team, but it might just be some long drawn out court nonsense that goes on behind closed doors that we don't even know what's going on. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Thoughts on Apple TV bidding for TV rights? Oh yeah, that's another little interesting point, isn't it? Yeah, Apple TV apparently looking for, which, you know, look, I'm all for more competition. There's certainly not enough. I mean, there's no competition in the UK. It's all Sky Sports F1. Yes, obviously Channel 4 have the highlights and whatever, but more competition is only a good thing. So, yeah, I'd love to see another TV broadcast come in and maybe takes. Actually, I say that. Would I like to see it spread between, then I've got to pay for also, as well as paying for Sky, then people also have to pay for Apple and Netflix. Maybe that's not so good. Look, I don't know. I just think that, I mean, obviously, yeah, back to the days of free-to-air would be ideal, but I don't think that's going to happen because the pay TV model is so established now. It's so normalised. whether that's Netflix or Disney Plus or Paramount Plus, which F1 doing a lot of stuff with at the minute as well. Like F1, and even F1 TV, like you still pay for it, but you get quite a lot of value from it. You don't get much value in the UK, but overseas you get a lot of value. So yeah, it's difficult. Thank you, Adonis, again for the $4.99. Andretti would get drivers from IndyCar and not rich kids from F2. That alone would make motorsport and F1 better. Yeah, I think if Andretti were to get a seat, I mean, they've already talked about kind of Colton Herta, although he's not got the super license points and he doesn't look like he's going to get the super license points anytime soon. I'd love to see an Andretti lineup of maybe do like a Palou for sure, and then maybe an experienced pair of F1 hands would be cool. Like, you know what would actually be sick at Andretti, right? Would be Alex Palou, IndyCar, champion, 2-time champion, unreal driver, young but not too young, good experience on his head, and then Checo Perez alongside him. Obviously, North American driver, North American market, Andretti would be vibes. But McLaren is suing Palou as well for loads as well. It's quite a lot of money they're suing. They're suing Alex for, which look, again, there is a certain reputation that our American cousins have, and I'm sure you know this, right? Any Americans watching, like, of this suing culture that goes on in the States. Although it's funny because it's actually now it's a Spanish driver in Palou and it's a French driver in Grosjean that are both actually doing the as part of the legal proceedings, let's just say. But Americans, I love you lot. You are funny. But there we go. Cool. Right, I think we're done. I think we've covered everything. And thank you all for taking the time. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to everyone who super chatted as well. Very generous from you lot today. Adonis, thank you very much. Jacques, Nimley, Jamie, Seamus, Sebastian, big time. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Well done on the marathon. Azar as well. And Jibril at the very start. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking the time. Don't forget to watch my video I put out yesterday on why domination in F1 is more boring than domination in other sports. Because I think that's an important distinction to make. When someone's dominating in certain sports, it's captivating. When Max dominates in F1, we don't even see him on the TV, which I think speaks volumes for how different it is. But there we go. Yeah, check it out if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, 5 stars, all that good stuff. And I will see you on Monday for the post-race. Hopefully we get a good Qatar Grand Prix. And last lap on Sunday for the Qatar Grand Prix as well. Link in the description below. Check out the last lap. We'll see you on the live show Sunday. See you here on Monday. Bye, everyone. Have a good day. Stay safe, be well. Stay hydrated.